is one harsh truth about growth that young people are not being told?
One harsh truth about growth that young people are not being told. Growth is messy. A lot of it goes in the process of shedding off your old self. A lot of it goes in the process of you detaching yourself from culture, detaching yourself from that which seemed to be working before, and you still have to embrace it with a lot of grace. That mistakes are part of the journey. You need to make as many mistakes for you to succeed. I call it the art of mistaking. So learn to make many constructive mistakes that contribute to the credibility of your experience. So growth is messy, and mistakes are good, not just a sign of failure.
Wow, 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 wow. Growth is messy. I think we have all picked that from Stanley, right? So you don't have to know it all. Just try, trial and error, as our chief guest, Billups, had told us. To Elifate, have you ever felt unqualified or out of place? And how did you push through that?
Have I ever felt unqualified? The answer is yes.
Mhm.
It will be a lie to say no. And each and every one of us here, where we are seated, there are some spaces where we are not qualified. And as he was speaking, and he talked about preparation, and preparation is very key. Where did I feel unprepared? I've applied so far since I graduated. I applied about 932 jobs, out of which I only got accepted in around 50, appeared in 50 online interviews and around 4 physical interviews. Out of all 932, I got rejected apart from one that they were like assuring me, but the environment itself wasn't that good. How did I get over it? Number one is acceptance. Accept that the opportunity is gone, you can no longer have it, it was not meant for you. And number two, learn to ask critical questions like he asked. In every space you enter into that you feel unqualified, ask important questions that matter. In an interview, for example, I could ask, where do you think I could do better next time? And that one will help you in the next doors that you open. So number one, prepare yourself. Even in whatever you do, preparation is wide. I don't want to talk about it. Number two, accept. And number three, ask critical questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elifate. I think you have heard he did feel unqualified, but he did not stop there. He wasn't like sleeping in his bed crying over it. He continued pushing through. So be encouraged. To Madam Vela Zawadi, what is one failure that forced you to rethink your approach to business or innovation? What is one failure that forced you to rethink your approach to business or innovation?
One failure. I've tried many business before I could settle on clothing and apparel industry. I've done sweets, I've sold sweets, I've plaited hair, but I think one failure was I invested in before what I'm doing now. I went so fast and into imports. You know, there is, as everyone has been saying, there is a process. You know, you start small, end up Gikomba, Kesho, enda. But well, I got someone, and I was too fast to, like, I want to be there. You know, just a minute. When you want to import things from China, it's pesa kidogo, by the way. Ni pesa kidogo, you know. For example, when I'm going to sell clothes, like taking clothes from Gikomba, I will use 40,000 to get a bell. But when I'm going to China, I'll only need 5,000-6,000 shillings. So that is how many bells za Kenya. That's around 5, right? 5, 6, you know. And so I think I was too fast. I was too fast and it messed me up. I took a loan of over 150,000 shillings just because I wanted to be up. You know, that is the greatest failure. There is always a process to anything, to any success. You see those wholesalers, you see those people up there, they started from somewhere. And so the approach is start slow, you know, start slow. It is okay to start with that 3,000, that 1,000, that it is okay, and you grow. So I think for me, it is from a point of, you can't get successful in one night. You need a process, and even in business, you need a process. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Bella. I think something that I am picking from what she has said is that there is a process to everything. You just don't wake up a billionaire, and you need to be consistent and continue showing up every single day. Thank you so much, Bella Zawadi. To Bill Ups, at your current level, what do you wish your younger self understood earlier about leadership or business?
Wow. One is failure is okay. So it's okay to start a business and it fails the next day. So I thought that if I was younger, everything that I did would succeed. So everything doesn't need to succeed. So it's okay to fail. Number two is I wish I learned a lot of skills then than just concentrating on one thing. So right now is when I'm catching up with a lot of skills, and many more skills will be needed in the future. So right now we think that we need to study one course, medicine, and that is what will give us money, engineering. But I want you to go and study a report by World Bank, 2019, The Future of Skills and Jobs. So it outlines in the next 10, 20, 30 years, some of the skills that will be outdated and the skills that we need to learn. So when I was younger, I wish I would have learned how to play an instrument, learned how to do data analysis, learned how to do deep computer coding and all that. So it's okay to fail, but I wish I learned many skills that would be bringing me more money right now, and it would be making work easier for me. So that's what I learned about business. About leadership is I learned about service from a very young age. So servant leadership. So I may be a manager where I am, a leader, people are under me, but when I'm interacting with them, it's very hard for you to know. It's only maybe when I pick the microphone and then I give direction and vision, strategy where we are going. But from a very young age, drop the titles and learn to serve. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Bilabs. To our audience, what is that one skill that you can build? He wished that he could play a piano. So what can you do that does not require you to have millions and millions of money? Something that you can do in the hostel, in your bed sitter, in your mother's house. Think about it. Thank you so much, Bilabs. To Najal Otieno. In your journey, when did you shift from consuming ideas to actually shaping them? A lot of people here probably have gone to 10 events, 20 events, but they have so much knowledge, but they do not know how to transform that knowledge. So how did you shift from consuming ideas to actually shaping them?
It's imperative to understand that events are very beneficial. There's a very radical thing that Stan said that, you know, imefika time ya wacha kuattend events, umeattend mingi imetosha, all right? But I cannot also not negate the place of these events. The place of these events is to, you know, empower us, you know, jumpstart us. You see how you jumpstart the battery of a vehicle? You jumpstart it so that it can be able to boldly rise, you know, and take the next step. And so if you're someone who has gone through this phase, you understand that there's a lot of frustration and guilt that comes when every other time unattending event na unaambiwangwa the same thing. Inafika place where you know there's a lot of guilt and you start despising yourself, right? And probably that is a moment where you're starting to hit rock bottom and you need to start. Now for myself, I think my life has greatly been shaped through mentorship, and this is something that I'd love the young people here to understand, that there is a vision of where you want to go. There is a fire that this event is going to burn in you, but you can never go to a place that you have not perceived, or there is no one who can hold your hand to help you perceive how that place looks like. And that is the role of mentorship in entirety. Yeah, I want to give you an ideation of what that mentorship could look like. So in leadership, we talk about a constellation of mentorship. There is upward mentorship, where I look up to someone, probably who is a CEO. I love their leadership style, and I feel like I can be able to learn from them. So I develop a one-on-one rapport with them, and I, intentionally ask them to walk me through this journey. There's a downward mentorship, where you're being mentored by someone who's younger. Do you know that is possible? Being mentored by someone who is younger than you. My younger brother right now is in grade 10. He's studying at St. Charles Luanga. Loves these things with electricity and all stuff. So there's this time that he created a radio out of a cardboard. And I was like, okay, so hii ndio vitu mnafanya CBC. All right. Another time, I overheard him give my mom business, business ideas and guidance of things that nilikuwa ninasoma JKUAT. I'm like, so you are studying these, okay? So it's in one way or another, I got to learn from him. And then we have external and internal mentorship. External mentorship, where it is a flat line, right? I have not known Elifet probably for a very long time, but there are things that I'm able to learn from him, and we are peers, right? And then there is internal mentorship. Right now, probably something that I can say that I'm with myself and Elifet and Stanley is that now we have a close relationship, and I am well able to learn from one thing from Elifet. Elifet is able to learn from me, and Stanley is able to learn from me. I'm able to learn from Stanley. So these events, that system of mentorship provides you an anchor, so that you don't just always unatokanga to events, but at the end of the day, una building it to guilt, and disappointment. And it will reach a place where it's going to bottle up and it's going to be overwhelming. So I think intentionally seeking a system of mentorship, probably sometimes it is coaching, probably sometimes it is, counseling, yeah? Whatever it is, find an anchor for it and let it be part of your going forward journey.
Thank you so much, Nigel. I think I can sum it up by saying you cannot go where your mind has not perceived, right? So as we wrap it up, Stanley, what habits or mindsets quietly limit most young people from becoming impactful? What is this thing that these people, they know they can become the next CEOs, they know they're the next president, but there's something holding them back? From your observation as a leader, what are these things?
Mindsets and habits that limit us as young people. Number one is believe that we have time because we are young. The fact that you're young does not mean you'll have enough time to do what God called you to do. He was 17, then he came fulfilled at 33 years, he was gone. That could be your story. So there's no time. Start now, start immediately. Secondly, small thinking. The same energy it takes to have a big idea is the same energy it will take to host a small idea. So why waste your energy on small things? Why waste your energy on small thinking? You can build a mansionette of 10 bedrooms by just beginning with a blueprint of 3 rooms. Many times we settle for a bungalow when we had started the blueprint of a mansionette. So let your idea remain big, but start it small. Then lastly, I said ego has taken more dreams than poverty. So the ego you have put as a bottleneck of your life, where you cannot wake up in good time, that's pride. Where you cannot relate with people well, pride. You can't fix your communication, pride. You can't fix your budget, pride. The reason you are not fixing it is because you think somebody else is going to do it for you. So everybody has some level of pride. The degree varies. So adopt a mindset of growth, adopt a mindset of abundance, then adopt a mindset of execution as much as you plan. So this year, do less planning, more execution. Less planning, more execution. Less planning, more execution.
Thank you so much, Stanley. And I think 3 things he has talked about. We think we have time. Do we? We think small of ourselves, yet we can think big. And we have allowed pride to control us. So think about those 3 things. To Vela, being a businesswoman and an entrepreneur, what does consistency look like in your world, especially when motivation is low?
People think being an entrepreneur or being in an entrepreneurial world, they think it's better than a 9 to 5. Being entrepreneurship is even harder because you're doing 24 hours. When people are doing 9 to 5, you are doing 24 hours of work. So more so when you're starting up or you are in an entrepreneurship and you're just starting up, consistency is very key, like very key. Because you want to be somewhere, but you're not yet there. You have to keep on going. You have to keep on making noise for your business. Sometimes you may not get what you want. You have invested over 30,000 shillings, but you're getting a low return. But you can't reach 100,000 profit or results when you have not been consistent or build up. And so for me, I would say for any startup, for any business, you see anything standing, you see an organization standing, is a matter of consistency, discipline, and persistency. Because another thing is you are the motivator of yourself. There is no one telling you, Amka, Ayalala, Ayarudi. No. You are there yourself. You have to wake up when you don't want. You have to go for it. You have to spend that late night if you don't want, even if you don't want. So I would say for any entrepreneur, for any entrepreneurial activity, discipline, consistency, and persistency is the key to reach higher. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vela. From my understanding, it's showing up even when you don't feel like. It is waking up even when you lack the motivation, even when you feel like you have to be consistent every single day, even when you don't want to be. To Elifet, how do you build credibility in rooms where people doubt youth?
Wow, that's a good one. How do you build credibility in rooms where people doubt youth? Allow me start by this statement. And I believe Nigel at one point mentioned it, that we live in a generation, and last time on the 14th of February actually, that is when he commented on that. And these were his words, not exactly as he quoted, that we live in a generation where the 2 different generations, that is the elder generation and the younger generation, we live in a divide. And this divide is because the elderly feel that we have so much pride and arrogance in us, and we, the young generation, feel that the elder generation are not understanding. And allow me start from that point. How do you build credibility? Right now, allow me use my own example. I don't want to lie to you. The work, number one, allow me now connect it with a question you asked Stanley Musaiti, the act of growth. And that is where some of us fail. And there is the four S's that I want us to look at. There are four S in growth and connecting with the elderly. Number one, there is what prevents us from even growth is number one, scarcity mentality. And Nigel is very big on that, scarcity mentality. Scarcity mentality, to be scarce, it means that we as young people, most of us, why are we also called the I generation? It's because we want things for ourselves. And that is why we do not want things without us. And the word us includes me, I. Meaning, I want something for myself. Scarcity mentality is looking that I only have something available for myself. But it is right time we look at things that whatever I have is so much plenty or so much for me that I can share it with another person. What am I talking about? I'm talking about value. Present value in any table you are sitting at. Right now, apart from, allow me just to break it out here. I hope you won't follow me after this. The government of Kenya, my close friends know. I work, apart from as the CEO of the Dr. Kahara Foundation, I work as a personal assistant to a very senior person and prominent leader in the country and East Africa. So that's why he had to release me so late. He's very big on this. And now he is 82 years of age. He's 82 years of age. And among all the employees that work around him, including the drivers, the other assistants, we are 7 of us. I am the youngest. The person that I'm following in age is 35 years of age. And the reason as to why we are able to connect, it's because, number one, I have practiced what we call value. Number two, I have practiced what we call abundant mentality. Number three, he doesn't measure success from a point of quantifiable measurement. And that is where our generation measures success with. We want to see success as a quantifiable thing. Meaning that our success right now, we who are seated here, if you ask a number of us, some of us want to be millionaires by age 27. A friend of mine once mentioned, whom I won't mention his name. He wants to be a millionaire by age 27. Some of us who are seated here, and Stanley mentioned it when he was speaking, he said, we want to start, we had the big dream of having a what? A mansion, but we are settling on a bungalow. Success in the measurement of quantity. We are measuring our success in quantity. Some of us who are seated here, you want to be CEOs. And he said very well, your success here is for you. Meaning, why is it for you? You are looking at what people will say or see. But I want us to move from a point of measuring success from a point of quantity to a point of impact. And impact comes when you look at it from a point of significance. And when we stop measuring success from a point of quantity to a point of significance, then we will live what we call legacy. So one thing we must know, most of us want to be famous. And that is one thing we are fighting for. There is a very big gap between fame and influence. Anyone can be famous. Alicia Kanini is famous. Somebody didn't get that. And there is this young man who came to Kenya. Speed has influence. Influence comes from impact. Fame comes from anything you can do that people will see and talk about. Okay? So number one, focus on impact. Number two, give value. And lastly, look at it from a point of, are you prepared to be in that room? Stanley is always very big on that. It's very bad, it's very painful that if 100 opportunities come to you at once, then you find none, or none comes to, or you fall for none. But it's something very interesting that you prepare for even an opportunity that will come in 10 years' time, but yet it was promised for you. The work I'm doing right now, it's not something I applied. It's because I was preparing and someone somewhere saw me and mentioned me in that room. Prepare, my friends. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Elifet. So are you leaving an impact? Are you influencing the world, or are you there for fame? Something to ponder about, right? As we finalize, Nigel, being a thought leader. So what does being a thought leader practically look like for a young person with no platform or influence yet?
Leave aside the platform and influence bit first, because if at all you are to be a thought leader in anything, it has to start from within. In the morning when I was speaking, I told you guys that you can't be a thought leader if you have not mastered that particular environment or that particular subject that you want to be a thought leader in. We have thought leaders in businesses, we have thought leaders in economics, we have thought leaders in political science. It is because they have gained mastery in that particular field. And listen, my fellow young people, if at all there is something that we need to stop pursuing or stop chasing after, it is this thing called fame and success. Those things are byproducts of value, right? The question that you asked, Elifet, I totally believe, yeah? Young person, any place where you are at, value is not gendered. Value is neither male or female. Value is neither young or old. Value is value. And anyone who appreciates it will not care whether you are young or you are old. So, young people, let us focus on how do I provide value. If it is a place that I am so passionate and a place that I want to commit myself to, focus on that place, build your value there, because it is going to attract. Remember in the morning I said there's something that Apostle Selman usually says, that whatever you are looking for is also looking for you, but it is not looking for this version of you. All right, so if you want to be a thought leader in a particular field, you grind those sleepless nights, the books that you are reading, be they on leadership and everything, you focus on that. A time is going to reach when you're going to stand and you speak and someone says, wait a minute, there's something that this young man has said. I have an event, let me call him to that event. Or there's something that this young lady, I am seeing some patterns around her life. It appears that Mugo has a lot of experience in these matters, mental health. Let me call her so that she can be able to come and talk to these students. So the other bit of fame and succeeding, iyo wachana nayo kwanza. Focus on how do I create value so that it can be able to attract those other things.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
I'm sorry. Let me jump on something a little bit. There is something I forgot to add, but I feel it's very important. I didn't want to jump on it.
In 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds. The other S, the last S, I've talked about success, I've talked about significance, I've talked about scarcity, and the last S is surrounding. Now, one important thing about surrounding, when Nigel was speaking, if you can hear us speak, Nigel will mention my name, I'll mention Stanley, Stanley will mention that way. Surrounding is very important. Everyone do this for me. Not for me, for yourself. Everyone do this. Then do this. Put your thumb inside. Cover it. Do this again. Put your all fingers first. Then cover with your thumb. Put your hands down. Now listen. This thumb is you. Am I talking to someone? This thumb is you. If you ever find yourself in a room where you are the only one giving to the people around you and they are not giving you value in return, you will end up at some point breaking down. Now, this was you. You cannot cover everyone. Am I talking to someone? But if you have a few good people around you, people of value, and the Bible says in the book, is it 1st or 2nd Corinthians 15:33, that bad company does what? Corrupts good moral. You cannot walk with 4 fools and say they are 4. You counted wrongly. They are 5 because you are the 5th. And so is the wise. And lastly, volunteer, volunteer, volunteer. We have been told by the elderly, and for him he will also tell you, volunteer. Let me tell you the opportunity I've gotten right now and I am in. I still repeat, it's because I volunteered at JKUAT. And the person I volunteered under, I saw as if alikuwa ananitumia. Later on, she's the one who said, I know someone. And this someone, the person they were looking for, number one was 35 years of age and knows how to drive. Is Elifet 35? Does he know how to drive? The only thing I can drive is my life. So volunteer. Thank you.
Hasn't it been a lovely session? It has, right? And as we wrap up, I would like for each panelist to wrap up in this manner. The future belongs to young people who fill it up. So we can start with Nigel as we proceed to Elifet.
The future belongs to young people who are going to understand that there's a lot of abundant assets around them, and they're supposed to utilize that to propel them to the desired future that they have, the desired vision that they have. So don't look at yourself as half empty, look at yourself as half full, because your future belongs to that version of yourself.
The future belongs to the one who think, teach, and touch. Yeah, you not only you think critically, you teach other people with not only knowledge, but also in terms of material possession. Yeah, thank you.
Just before I give mine, I think it's something that has been on my mind. While you're navigating the corridors of power, stop mentioning your age. Let your results do. That works against so many people. Stop giving a lot of details and mentioning your age. Let your results do. The future belongs to the young people who, without fear of intimidation, will take action boldly and do it with intention. So intentionality and boldness. Then add it with a little bit pinch of courage. Then iterate, multiply, iterate, multiply.
The future belongs to the young people in this room today. Yeah. So from here, the future only belongs to you if you learn how to dress, because how you dress is how you'll be addressed, and dress according to your future. Another skill for the future and currency would be public speaking. You can be the best doctor, best engineer, best lawyer, but if you don't know how to articulate your ideas, you won't make the money, you won't lead, and you won't have the influence. So the future belongs to you. Let's meet at the top. God bless.
Okay. The future belongs to him or her who acknowledges that an investment in self is an investment in others only by using what they have to get what they want and impact. Let me go a little bit further. Investing in self requires you to acknowledge that you can only be of benefit to others if you are of benefit to self. Impact is done by investing in self through reading books. I was not a reader initially, sometimes back 2 years ago. Right now I have a pile of books. I was telling my friends I have a pile of books that I'm reading. And it gives the best dividend. Dividend is more than profit. Dividend is what a company gets in a whole year. Okay? That is dividend. And you by using what you have. When Moses went into the burning bush, when he was told to go and rescue the people of Israel, this is what God asked him, that what do you have? What did he use? A rod. Was that rod away from him? No. You have phones, you have laptops, you have your dressing code, you have your brain above all, and above everything else, you have God. Use what you have to get what you want. The future belongs to them.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stanley was talking about the future belongs to those who are willing to take up space, right? And Kennedy here has said he has something to say because he's willing to take up space. So what can you tell these people?
Thank you. I want to add that the future belongs to the people who believe in themselves and work towards their dream. Thank you.
Didn't he believe in himself? He did, right? That could be you. So thank you so much. Wow, he's sending you 500. Yeah.
Appreciate him,
Appreciate
appreciate him,
him.
everyone, appreciate him. He has 500 shillings just because of believing in himself. He's 500 richer than you right now.
Okay. Um, there's a lady who had asked a question in the morning. Is your question addressed? Could you kindly project your voice and tell us what the question is? What about the, oh, it isn't you. All right. Any question from the audience?
Okay, hi. I do have a question, but her question was pertaining mental state, yeah, mental health, yeah, like in navigating us going up the ladder as the youth. How do we bypass the issue of mental health, more so when the people that you want to the people that you are assuming that they would support you are not supporting you, or they are against you, or they do not believe in you? That was her question.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We have another question over
I
there.
do have a question,
Okay.
my own question.
Mhm.
So you've been discussing, right? You've been talking about entrepreneurship, the youth making it out there and stuff. But there's one particular issue that has been lingering around my mind for quite a number of years now. It pertains to us ladies, yeah? We may try to play around the issue, but it is there. I'm from Botswana, and I believe like it's in all the countries. I'm very sorry that when you asked earlier on if we have traveled, I didn't indicate that I have traveled. I have seen, or I've heard of the issue in Zimbabwe. I've heard of the issue in South Africa. I've heard of the issue in Namibia. I've heard of the issue in Ethiopia and also in Liberia. So I would like to find out from you, as women, we tend to be sexualized a lot. We want to penetrate certain industries. We want to be up there. We want mentorship. And you realize that most of those people who are up there and we require mentorship from are male individuals. And in most cases, they do not at all come to us or agree to mentor us out of genuinity. You will find that they will ask sexual favors from us. How do we bypass that? And then there's another uprising issue of fronting with women. Right now, we know that us ladies, in terms of gender equality and everything, is making rounds globally. You'll come with an idea, then those male figures, they will tend to steal your idea and make you to front for them. It's no longer yours. Or they come up with an idea and they call you, then you are fronting. So where exactly is our identity as women? We may answer all those 5 questions. I forgot your name, Omi something, sorry for that. We may answer all those questions that you gave to us. But at the end of the day, if the male figures choose to sexualize us, choose to front with us, then we don't have an identity. So I would like for you to touch on that and see how we can bypass that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So we'll just take one last question. If it's burning. If there is none, I think we can address the questions.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, I think I recall a question, and we were talking about seeking validation. And she asked, how are you going to ignore the validations of the people's supporters? How are you going to ignore the approval of the people's supporters? For example, you can't tell me to go against my parents who are supporting me. For example, I want to do this and they think this is not right. And yet I'm seeking money from them so that I can start. Maybe it's a business and they think it is not right for me. That was her question. Now, I think she has talked about sexual immorality and sexual abuse. For example, I remember our speaker, Billups, you told us like young girls, young ladies, go there and look for father figures. Sometimes it is not easy. She has talked about the workplace, how the environment is. Even here outside, that is the situation. You can't tell me to go and look for a figure into someone who maybe admires me, though he has not told me, but I can see the signs, and yet is the person who I'm supposed to look for as a father figure. I might believe someone as my father figure, but now after some years, maybe that person comes and abuses me. How will things go? How will I feel? How do you expect me to live? Sometimes I feel it's not about us as girls. It's the fear that the society has brought to us. It's the fear that men has brought to us. When you talk about early pregnancies, who to blame? Most of them blame the ladies. Most of them blame young girls. But you don't look and you don't see and you don't seek anything from men. Most of them, they don't ask who is the father because they know maybe hicho ndicho lichokipanda. But that's not us. I understand sometimes even as ladies, we are not holy. Situations sometimes force us and we make wrong decisions. And what are the steps that we are going to take? And what can we do? Since you have to look for father figures, since you have to look for mentors, since you have to look for people to employ us, and since you have to look for our friends, and yet they're the ones who rape us. They're the ones who abuse us. So sometimes I feel like we're in a dilemma. We take questions from this right, this direction, and forget to ask ourselves, how did this come to this place?
Right.
Hope I'm going to be answered.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the heavy questions and for pouring your hearts and for being very authentic. I think the question on gender has been strongly directed to Billups, and I would like for you to address that. And the question on validation, I would love for Nigel to tackle that question, and then we can, if there is anyone with something to add, you can add, and then we could wrap up. So
okay. Yeah. Let me address in two cases. One, when you are looking for an opportunity, and this mostly goes to the ladies in the room, girls. If you're looking for an opportunity, maybe getting a job, business, and you get approaches from men, and maybe you sense that this may not go well. And this may, allow me to put it this way. You need to set boundaries. And boundaries is not just verbal. Boundaries is how you behave and even how you dress. And dressing here is not, does not mean that no, I'm talking about you should not dress a certain way. But there's a way you, what is a brand that represents you? Okay? I'm a man, there's a way I can look at a girl, how she behaves, and I can deduce a lot of things just from that. So even me, as a man, how do I behave? And because even men in certain places, they even abuse or they're approached by a certain older ladies for maybe sexual favors to get a certain deal or something like that. But the majority here we have to agree are mostly ladies. So number one is boundaries. If you respect yourself as a lady, and when a man comes and she wants to sleep with you or she wants some sexual favors to give you a job, you can say no politely and professionally and go away. You'd rather lose the job that is going to pay you thousands of money just after campus, and you look at the situation at home, you're very poor, they need the money, that is better for your future, for your dignity, for your status, and for your character than being there, because that will not be the first. You'll have a second and the third. It will be too late. So boundaries is very key. Learn how to say no. So we teach young girls, we teach ladies, there's a way you can say no, and no is a full statement or a sentence by its own. No explanation. Usianze kumwambia, oh, I'm saying no because I'm still, just say no and then go away. But also number 2, if men are not there to offer the mentorship and guidance, go to the women. In fact, my principle is this: men or boys should be mentored by men. Girls should be mentored by women. You cannot tell me that you have a mentor who you meet with and you're the opposite sex. It becomes very difficult. Unless you're very professional, you are adults, in a corporate space, that can work. But for your age, if you're in campus, please, there are hundreds and hundreds of women who are professionals and they're successful, who can become your mentor. Lastly is let people know you for your content and for the value that you bring on the table and in the company or in the room or in the organization than how you look. So brains over beauty. However, sometimes your beauty and how you dress can open doors. So you'll actually do research. Some of the women that get promotion, they dress a certain way. They put on suits. There's a certain, whenever heels, they put on makeup. So you also now know how to dress like that. So you can't be in campus, you want to go for internship, get a job, and you're putting on a dress that inashika huko chini, sweeping the streets. So you should also know how to dress. However, when you speak, let the person get the value and the character in you. Men and people respect that, and they'll keep away.
Thank you so much. We can have Najal addressing the last question.
Yeah, my sister from Botswana, Saubona. I know you understand that. The reasons why you've brought a very critical bit of the conversation at the way tail end, all right? And I'm just going to touch on it and then answer this other question. I have engaged in lots of conversations about this, right? And according to me, I usually see this as not a gender issue, in all honesty. I see this as a character flaw. I have a friend who is a young man, all right, who worked in a certain radio station, and the boss there waited until everyone was out for field work and then went for this young man and asked for a sexual favor there and then, and this young man refused, and he was fired from his job, right? And I usually say that this is a power dynamic thing, right? When I am the boss in this office, you are the young lady who has come to seek for an opportunity, right? When you come, I have the power to give you the job. The power lies with me, right? When I ask you for a sexual favor, the ball has gone from my court to your court. I no longer have the power. You are the one who has the power. And that is what Delap is saying, that if it reaches that point, say no, all right? Leave that opportunity, all right? Now, I do understand that it is a very sort of barbaric way of people missing out of opportunities. We are not supposed to have such kinds of people in those positions, all right? And I do understand that. But also, I want us to understand that it is not a gender issue. It is a character flaw issue. And that is why we are constantly agitating for good leaders to be in spaces where a leader is going to understand that I'm in a position of influence to lift another person and not take advantage of them. To cut that part, that bit, so that we don't overextend on it. The other question, what the lady asked, I have experienced firsthand. And this is my thought. I have been hurt by very close people to me that I never expected them. And you know what caused or aggravated that hurt? Was the expectation that because he's a very close person to me, he's not supposed to hurt me. Now you have to understand that human beings are complex people. We are neither black or white. Good people do bad things, and bad people can also do good things. All right? So in the event where your father, an example, your father hurt you, traumatized you to a point where you are like, but you are the one who was supposed to give me that validation. It is a learning process for you to understand that human beings can hurt you, even the one who sleeps next to you at night. All right? So understanding that then helps you to know that I am moving my life. It is a growth process. It is a growth process. I had to battle depression because of that thing. Right? And I had to battle depression 3 years later after it happened. All right? So the understanding that human beings are complex, anyone can hurt you. Mimi Saizi, I don't put expectation on people. I don't wait for someone to validate me. All right? So I understand it might be painful, it might be difficult, it might even affect your mental health. But just understand that is the reality of the life that we are living in, and may God help you.
Right. Thank you so much. Because of time, unfortunately, Elifet, I will not give you a chance.
Just to help her.
Wrap it up in 30 seconds.
Just to help her. I advocated for mental health in campus, where I handed over to the lady who is now moderating. Let's appreciate her. And one thing I will tell you, and I will say in public, is that I handled thousands of ladies, not only from JKUAT, but from other campuses, compared to men. I could count the number of men I handled their mental health cases. And out of those issues, the issue of sexual harassment were so many. And there is a friend of ours, whom I won't mention even by names, who went through that same problem, sexual abuse, by an uncle who is the brother to his stepfather, and damaged her for the rest. She was traumatized. And now this is the thing, like Nigel have said, learn to know that human beings will remain to be human beings, and human beings can hurt you. Number one, learn to set boundaries, like he said. And one recommended book I'll give you, right now I'm almost finishing it. It's called Boundaries. Boundaries, how to say no and when to say yes, to take control over your life. Boundaries with family, boundaries with friends, boundaries with work, boundaries with every circle within which you exist. It will help you to some point.
Yeah. Thank you.
So kindly take care of self. Self-validation sometimes, it's lack of identity. That's another thing we look for, an opportunity or a webinar. Kindly organize. We'll talk about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hasn't it been a learning experience? Thank you so much to my panelists for being here, taking your time to answer all the questions.